Hey, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, scoot over a little.
Yeah,
I live.
I shrink.
Hello, everybody, and happy Friday, and happy 10 days to Christmas. I can't believe
Whoa.
it.
Wait a minute. Is my microphone working? You guys hearing me all
Test
right?
1, 2. Mine is, I think, test 1, 2. Let us know.
Test.
Yeah, I think you're working.
Okay.
I see the little bars going up and down.
Yeah.
Well, hope you guys had a great last week. Sorry we weren't able to do the live streams on the Friday and then again the Sunday. My voice just came back about 2 days
You want
ago.
this?
Yes, please. Thank you. And it's been a little rough. This is a rough cold. I still can only hear partially out of this ear, so I'm still not 100% over it. But I am definitely on the upside, I guess. Thank you, Kim. Yay. Okay, great. We both sound fine. Yay.
Good.
Awesome. Hello, Kim and Mark. How are you guys? Hope you're doing well. And I can't remember, have you guys done your cruise yet, or is that coming up? You'll have to let me know. It's exciting. Hi, Adrian. Nice to see you on here. Looks like we've got a few people on here. It's awesome. So
I'll be back, I swear.
Paul is adjusting something over there. So tonight we're doing Soft Winter Sky.
I'm not adjusting anything. I'm getting lens wipes for my glasses so
Oh.
I can see.
Probably good. So tell us what inspired you on this one.
Nature.
Obviously.
I don't know what really inspired me on this one. I wanted to do one that was sky heavy, but without being technically difficult.
Okay. And it has, yeah, the landscape being real tiny. I know that's a big thing of yours, that you love doing that with the great ominous skies and the
Yeah.
tiny landscapes.
And so, like, this is kind of like when we start getting into it, what you'll see is that the technique used in the sky is going to be different than we've done before, and it's done in a way to, again, take out the technicality of doing clouds and stuff. So we've done it in a way so that it's really more of a, trying to think of the right way to say it, of a blotchy breakup.
Blotchy breakup. Okay.
And not a blotchy breakout, but a blotchy breakup of color. And then we do have our little Christmas tree that you can. I forgot that we put that on there.
Yeah.
But that's optional. You don't have to put that on. So one of the things that, like, when we hold this up, one of the things I always try to achieve when we're doing landscapes on these little canvases is making it still seem like a big scene, which is a hard thing to do on a small canvas. So that's what we really tried to do on this one. And the way we do that is by making the landscape itself small compared to the size of the canvas. So we also kind of, like, also is kind of making it feel like maybe your little cabin might be back up in the woods here.
Oh, yeah. We can show that one, too.
Yeah.
This is the one that's been delayed. So I think it's kind of fun to do this one a little closer to Christmas
like it might be,
anyways,
yeah.
because this week, Christmas break has started for all the kids just about. And although we aren't going to be snowed in, we're without internet at home, so it kind of feels that way.
It's really bizarre. It's like, what do we do?
We're back in the dark ages. Greta's like, well, maybe today we should just bake and do crafts.
Well, it was funny because it was like, so there's something wrong between our house and the main switch thing, and it was funny because we were like, oh, it'd be just like when we were kids, and I was like, yeah, but we don't have VHS tapes and DVDs anymore.
No,
and we don't have cable, so we do everything via stream. So
yeah, it was a little rude awakening.
Luckily, we have musical instruments, and we could always paint and do crafts and all that fun stuff.
Oh, Kim and Mark were sick too. I don't know if you had the god-awful cold, but I think I'm on day 10. Oh, Joanna says, I'm going to be here for a little while, and I'm going to have to go have some oyster shooters in celebration of making it to Christmas break. Yes.
Nice.
Congratulations.
I'm jealous.
Yes.
I want the oyster shooters.
And Christmas break.
I don't get Christmas break, really.
From work. All right, let's get going.
Let's
so we're
do
not
it.
just hemming and hawing.
Hemming and hawing. All right. So I'm actually, I think let me see if oh. I didn't even do anything. It worked.
Okay.
So it wasn't working last time.
Oh.
All right, so this is our painting. We're going to get working on it. And one of the things that's kind of a little bit of a challenge with the new way we've been doing things is remembering how we painted it 3 months ago.
Yep.
So
We say that every video.
yeah.
But luckily,
We have
you've
cheat
got
sheets. I've got my cheat
that.
sheet. I already kind of went over it. Let me just double check.
It looks
Yeah.
like golden and lavender and pink at first.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's go ahead and I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to put this right here so I can see it good.
If I want to see this.
Yeah. So let's start off with our biggest brush. And what we're going to start out doing is we're basically going to start at our horizon line and work our way up. And then we're going to kind of work our way up about halfway, and then we're going to work our way down into it. So it's a fun way to do this. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our yellow ochre and a little tiny little bit of magenta. We don't want very much. So it just kind of gives us a, I don't know what color I want to call that.
Terracotta?
Yeah, a little lighter. Well, it's like when we start adding white, it becomes more of a peach, and that's the way I described it. And we need a decent amount, not a Jenny amount, but no, just kidding. A Paul amount.
Yourself.
You better watch yourself.
Oh gosh. Kim says the cough won't end. They started with a cough, then laryngitis, had to go on antibiotics and prednisone. Oh.
Oof, not fun.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so
yeah, steroids do the job for sure. Remember when Hayden had croup when he was young, and they put him on a steroid, and it was like instantly.
Yep. So what we want to do is we want to start only about 2, 3 inches from the bottom. You can go a little closer. And at first, we're just going to go across.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is, that's maybe a little bit too peach, but I'm going to leave it like that. We can come back and add white later. Actually, I'm doing it right now. But we can come back and add white later, and that's fine. And what we're going to do is, as we start working our way up, we're going to kind of just let it break up. Let there be little patches. I'm not adding a lot more paint.
You're adding chatter. That's what you always call it.
Static.
Chatter.
Yeah, chatter. Basically what I want it to be is as we move up, these spots get...
Oh, screen is blurry. Let's see. It might have autofocused for a second. Oh yeah, I see it doing that. Now it's back.
Yeah.
Why does it do that once in a while?
I don't know. Could be because of the light. Could be a bug.
We need more light. Oh.
I don't see any like errors or anything on the stream, so we'll just see if it corrects itself. I'll make sure my bill doesn't get in the way.
Maybe that's what it is.
Anyway, as we work up, we want to do less and less. Yeah, about like that. Now I'm going to rinse my brush. You know, I think what it might do is it might be focus on my hand a little bit. But if we take the autofocus off, then we can't do the zoom in.
Oh.
So.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. So this is a little bit bright right now. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it because we'll come back and we'll do white over it. And I know it probably doesn't say anything about that in the instructions, but we're just going to adjust on the fly. So I'm going to mix up a pale lavender using magenta and a little bit of cyan.
I accidentally got a 10 of magenta on my palette.
Yes, you did.
It came out of the bottle, the bigger bottle, really fast. I taught a live class last night, and it was really fun. It was the We Three Gnomes.
Yeah.
Which I know you guys have done. A lot of you have already ordered your kits and done them, but I want to grab them because I had to redo them yesterday because I gave the originals to my parents.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to grab them. You go ahead and keep instructing.
Okay, so I want this to lean a little bit to the pinkish side of lavender, so I'm going to use a little bit more magenta than cyan. And we're basically going to start doing the same thing across the top. And we're just going to, I'm actually going to come down about 2 inches with this, and I've still got some of that.
Oh, I left one at the space.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And as I work my way down, I'm going to add a little bit of white. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding white on my brush. I'm blotting that in. And as I work, like white becomes our blender, basically. It's our Vitamix of color. Not a sponsor.
Yet.
Would be nice. And I'm just going to try to, like, as I get into this other color, I don't want to lose it. I'm going to brush in and around, hit the spots that I missed. And then very lightly just kind of fluff. Paul's technical term, fluffing. If you get too white up in here, you can add a little bit of this back in. I got a little bit too light with mine. And then this really dark color that we see in the original, that will come in later.
You work really fast.
Sorry. Well, you're up and running around and doing stuff. You know what's funny is, like, I always feel like when you're teaching that I'm falling behind sitting in the passenger seat too.
It's funny. It's because we're not in control. So we're connecting this with the chatter?
Yep, we're just doing the reverse process.
Oh, I see. And they're meeting in the middle?
Yep, and you're using white to kind of soften the blow.
Okay. I actually kind of like this technique.
Yeah, it works really well. Because instead of being like trying to blend it, you just kind of pixelate it.
Yeah, I think this is similar to what I did on the one I did that was called Morning Wishes.
Could be. Yeah, I think so.
It's a good way to blend colors that don't mix so great together.
It's visually blending without actually blending.
Yeah.
I just had to mix a little bit more lavender. It ended up being a little darker, so I'm just going to kind of do the same process, just kind of break it up. Give this a little tilt, we got a little bit of glare. It's actually not as glary as it looks.
Where's We Three Gnomes on the website? It should be under Christmas projects.
Unless, did we take it off?
No. It's still there. They're in stock now. We have several sets made. Here, I'll show you what they look like. There's the middle size guy is missing, but that's what we did last night in the class. And I actually did, I had glitter, so we did glitter on the beard, and I had black glitter. We glittered the belt.
It's gone now.
And it was really fun. No, the ones I taught are actually at the space.
Oh, that's right. You put them in the window.
It was really fun. There were just
oh no
5. There were 5 of us all together, and so we sat at the same table, and just it felt like a girls' night out.
With Paul.
With Paul.
Running around.
Paul was just running around, taking measurements of the space and drawing up diagrams for seating. So, yeah.
I managed to roll my brush in black paint while you guys were not looking, but I got it cleaned up. We're good.
Let's see. So to find Christmas projects on the site, I think you click on, when you go on the site, you click on Shop, and then there's a menu bar on the left that pops up, and one of them says Christmas.
I think it says holiday.
Holiday or Christmas projects. Something like that, but it'll be on the left after you click Shop. Paul changed some stuff around, I know.
Let me look on my phone real quick.
But I know that the description says allow a week for shipping, but we have them in stock now.
Let me just see. I'm going to shop. Because it might be a little different on our phone.
That's true. I'm always looking on my computer.
Yeah, if you're on your phone, just click on Filter.
Filter?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Right at the very top of the listing.
Okay. So show on your, just show their phone there.
So we go on our phone, we click on Filter, and we
yeah, it says
click
Christmas/winter.
Christmas, winter.
We Three Gnomes should be on there.
And then apply. And
Joanna says, I've given most of my Christmas gifts out, and everyone has said they love them, and no one has said I'm a hack, so that was nice.
That's always a good feeling. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I've got some paintings to do for Christmas, too. I just haven't had time.
So if we feel like this is a little bit too peachy through here, and I feel like mine is, this is a good time to go ahead and take some white. Rinse your brush off first, obviously. And this could still be wet. If it's not still wet, you can add a little bit of this peach back in just to freshen it up. But just take some white, and then you can now pull this color up.
Oh, Joanna asked if we designed the January paintings yet. Yes. Can we show yours?
Yes.
I grab it.
It is the one right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's right. January. I'm thinking a month ahead. We've designed February too, but.
Yeah, so here's my January painting.
And I think I've just got mine on a photo.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't grab. You know, when we left the house and I said, I feel like I'm forgetting something?
That was it?
That was it.
So that's my January.
Let me pull up a photo.
And actually or I did my February today too, and we can show you that too. So here's
mine.
Jenny's
It's a little
January
blue jay.
Blue jay.
Yeah.
And so my painting is kind of
Oh, you want me to grab your February one?
You can if you want.
Okay.
My January, though, is designed to look like maybe that blue jay's hanging out in those trees. And then for some reason, I managed to do 3 snow paintings in a row, which is unusual because I'm not usually a snow guy. But then this is February, and we haven't named this one yet, but this one is some
winter crocus.
Yeah, crocus is just starting to pop up.
Crocus
through
or
the snow.
pocusing.
Yeah.
The crocusing.
The crocus of spring. I was figuring out.
Oh my gosh.
I was figuring out how am I going to put crows on there, kissing.
Anyway.
Anyway.
And I did my February one today, although it's kind of rough. I want to redo it because I'm not loving it. But I can show a photo of it so you guys can see how this process goes. Just don't hold me to this. It might change.
While you're on that, I'm taking this lightened up peach, and I'm breaking it up into our lavender too. This can be really blotchy. In fact, we want this to be pretty blotchy. I'm just going to take a little bit more white in here. Just a bit. We can come back in and add some more white in a little bit. Anyway. Blotchy's good. Blotchy's good.
So I did an ermine, which to me it looks kind of maybe a little too kiddish. So I'm going to change some things up. I didn't love it. And it's like when you're taking pictures of your projects while you're working along, you can't really change stuff. So for me, it does work better to do a rough draft and then paint a final. And today I tried to start and just go right from start to finish to the final. And it's cute. I think that's what I want to paint is a little white weasel or ermine, or they're also called a scote.
Okay. So one of the things like when Jenny's talking about is, wow, let me just throw that one. Hold on, I'm coming back. Oh.
A stoat. I said scote. It's stoat. It's a stoat.
When you get the instructions for this one, you will see processes that don't end up in the final painting. And it's because when I develop the painting, I take pictures as I go, and sometimes those things stick and sometimes they don't.
Sometimes you see something you have to paint out before you take the photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I just felt like, it's just not quite what I had in my head. How about that?
That works. All right.
We'll blame it on my
We'll blame it on the
cold.
Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. Right.
When I showed it to Greta was like, something looks weird. And tried to fix the eyes. And definitely the eyes look better, but with the fix that Greta did. But I like the honest advice.
All right.
It looks weird.
So next step we're going to do is we're going to let that sky dry. And what we need to do is we're going to create our basis for our land. And I feel like my phone's going to fall out of my pocket and go plunk, so let's take it out of my pocket. All right, so what we're going to mix up now is we're going to mix up kind of a grayish lavender. So we're going to start with our cyan. We're going to add our magenta. And I want to add, what color do we want? Let's do a little tiny touch of ochre. tiniest little touch of ochre because you don't want it to turn green. But what it does is the ochre counteracts the purpleness. And I'm going to add a little bit of white. So I can see that's a little bit too blue, so I'm going to add a little bit more of my magenta in there. That should be good. It doesn't really have to be anything super precise. And basically what we want to do is we're just going to make sure we're going to kind of meander like a horizon line across. And we want to make sure this just never dips down below our white. So we want to keep it up in the sky. And it's just subtle. You know, this is more of a flat area. So it can scoop up just a little bit on the edges. And it's okay if it mixes with some of this color in the sky. This is just a underpaint. And we'll just fill this in.
Okay. It's really hard to believe that there are just 10 days to Christmas.
I believe it because there were 11 days as of yesterday.
It just is like I'm mentally stuck at Halloween still, I think.
Maybe that's the
So
issue every
weird.
year.
Could be. I just go to Halloween and stick there. I do feel like time is going by, like, every year it goes by faster and faster. I remember you telling me that that's actually a thing.
Well, it's a thing because each year is a smaller percentage of your life.
That's so sad.
I mean,
I saw a meme today.
I don't have like actual scientific evidence that that's the case, but that's a theory I came up with maybe when I was a teenager. Like, it's like, you think about it, it's like, okay, when you and I first met each other, we were 18 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had 100% of our life without each other. Now we've been together as a couple for 30 years. So our life without each other was only a third of that.
Whoa. Deep.
So
I saw a meme today that said, would you rather go back to age 10, instantly go back to age 10, having all the knowledge you have now, or advance to like age 60 and have 50 million in the bank?
age 60 with 50 million in the bank.
Now, if you're like 65, I mean, that makes sense. You just go
I'm
back
not
a few
65
years.
though.
Yeah, I know. But like for someone who's older than 60, it's like a no-brainer.
It's like this saying that's like, would you rather get in a brawl with 10 100-year-olds or 100 10-year-olds? Have you heard that before?
Yeah. What would you pick?
I'd take the 10 100-year-olds. The 10-year-olds would just keep coming. It'd be like the zombie plague.
Some of those kids are strong. Oh, Joanna, I'd go back to age 10. Yeah, knowing what I know now, it would be interesting to go back.
Could I still be 6'1" and 190 pounds and be 10? I mean, little league and little guy football
It'd be
and
a
stuff
whole
would
different
be
realm.
so much fun. All right, so that's I really like how that looks right now. While we're working on this, I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and put our background trees in just so they're there. And I'm just gonna use, let's use number 4. And I'm just gonna use the same color we just used. And all we're gonna do is, I should zoom in on this.
I took the 10-year-olds because they're pretty much immediate. They pretty much immediately turn on each other, Joanna.
That's true.
You would know as the
That's
teacher.
True. Yeah, there's some truth to that.
So we're making these really tiny. Like, what height would you say these look like?
About a half inch.
Okay.
About a half inch. For the tallest ones. And we're just doing a little stand. And I just kind of pull the color in. Sometimes I'm just dabbing the brush. It's not always a scribble. Just kind of soften this out. We'll get, when we come in and start adding snow and stuff, we'll get some, blend this out a little better. I'm going to use the same color. Move over kind of just off center to the right a bit. I always kind of like to have them be a little bit taller in the middle, and like I think this is the grandfather tree, and then they just are smaller baby trees as you move away from the. Maybe it's the matriarch, not the patriarch. Who knows? Oh, I can zoom out a little bit. And if you wanted to, I mean, you could take your smallest brush. In fact, we'll do that. I want to throw a little. I don't do a lot of detail on these types of things that are further away usually, but let's go ahead and do that tonight. My parents are down at the coast this week.
Yeah.
For the king tide.
They're in Cannon Beach.
Yeah. And they were sending, so the king tide is like a super high tide, and they were sending pictures, and what's really unusual is for this time of year is it's very, very calm, and so the tide's coming in really high, like all the way up to the deck of the condo they rented, but it's not splashing against it, which normally, even when it's not a king tide, it could splash against. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to do one more stand over here on the side, and it's going to kind of come across maybe about a third of the way across the canvas. If you need to mix up a little bit more color, you can. So March, we have to do March paintings too.
Yeah, you always do a good Irishy looking one.
You remember Pint and Fiddle?
Yes, I liked that one. I don't remember. Did you have very many people paint it?
No.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's like the St. Patrick's Day ones are.
They're like the Halloween ones.
Yeah, it's like you get a few people that are really into it, and then but for the most part, people aren't.
We were talking about that last night when I was teaching the little gnomes. I was telling them how we would try to run Halloween classes a lot when we were teaching a lot, and they never did good, but they were. So one of them said they'd probably do good now because Halloween is a lot bigger now than it ever was.
That could be.
And I think it's just because of like TikToks and Instagram Reels, and you see people expressing their love for Halloween all the time, no matter what time of year.
I think during COVID, people just embraced who they are.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? They're like, I love Halloween, and I freaking love Halloween all year long. I don't care anymore.
I have bats up year round.
We did. One thing you can do, you guys, is if your little puddle of paint starts to get a little, like it's not getting on your brush, you can get your brush wet, damp, and refresh it a bit.
Just read your comment about being a hack. Joanna, well, you're not. I loved your idea and stole it and have been painting for gifts to you. I did the colorful lion and lion sleeps tonight and wrapped them and gave them to one of my daughters. The gnomes will go to another daughter. Thank you. Awesome.
Good. Nobody's really a hack. There's no such thing.
No.
There are people that think that they're tough guys by saying stuff like that, but they're not. They're just jealous.
And Kim, your painting you did with the snowman, that was the shower curtain one, was so cute.
So you guys, what? We are 29 minutes into this painting. You could put a frame on this painting at this point and call it done.
It could look like a desert.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've talked about this before, where I feel like a lot of times the halfway point is actually sometimes a finished painting. That doesn't mean it is, but it could be. We are trying Arizona real brewed hard iced tea, and I'm not sure I dig it.
They're not very good. I'm
It's-
just going to say it. They're not very good.
They taste like Arizona tea with cheap malt liquor. You know, that
I don't
cheap-
even know what to compare it to. It's like watered down tea that is not very good flavored tea.
Yeah, it's like that weird cheap alcohol flavor that you get in cider, or not ciders, but seltzers, like cheaper seltzers.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's doing it, and this is just not gonna do this one again. Just gonna say that. All right, number 8, you guys. Number 8. Get it nice and clean. We want it really super clean because we're gonna just do some pure white, and we're gonna do this pure white in the sky. And I'm just going along. And let me zoom in on this.
Is this the sun or what is this?
It's not. It's just lightness. Like, I feel like maybe the sun has just gone down, or it's hanging out.
My area down there was a little brighter, like a more vivid peach.
Yeah. So if you've got like Jenny's where it's more bright, and I just kind of like, yeah, if you lose a little bit of a tree, big deal. You can come back and add the tree. But I'm really keeping this movement going side to side.
I like how you didn't answer.
What's that?
If you like Jenny's and you've got it really bright, and you can do Bubba. You like switch subjects. Way to evade the topic. What do you do,
This is
Paul?
really important. Actually, this is a really important thing to do. Is if you've got yours where it's really saturated color, it's really important to get this brightness in the sky. And all you
But
do
if it
is,
stands out like a sore thumb,
and all you do is you just take it and you want to fade it out as you work away.
I just added a little water to my paint.
That works too.
Have fun, Joanna. I am jealous. I love oyster shooters.
I would go get oyster shooters at Clancy's
And we
tonight
love hanging out with you too.
if it was on the table. Just saying.
What? You'd go get oyster shooters? Not from Clancy's. They're not very good.
They're better than any place else. I mean, outside of going up to the Allison. All right, so I'm just kind of adding some blotchy white up in here. It doesn't, you don't want to like necessarily paint it all the way back to white. But again, this is something that I've talked about in a lot of the paintings, and that is having enough contrast. So let me zoom back out. So that looks good. I like that. It's compared to the original, very similar.
So other than getting sick, Kim, tell us about your cruise. Was it amazing?
Wait, did you get sick on the cruise?
Yeah, or
Is
was
that-
it right after?
I want to know more. Tell me more, tell me more. I think there's a song that goes something about tell me more.
There is.
Isn't it from Greece?
Yes.
See, we're tuning into our musical selves. I got to sit through auditions for a musical this week. That was really cool to do. I had never done that before.
Were the people nervous?
I think there are a couple people, well, yes, a couple of them actually said they were really nervous.
Oh, really?
Um,
Did you obviously talk to some of them then?
I did not, but I heard the interaction.
Okay.
I think everybody thought I was the big wig sitting in the back with my white beard and my fancy
Santa.
hat, saying nothing but just observing. But we had one young lady who auditioned in the director, assistant director, and I don't remember what Claire's role is. Sent her back out into the waiting room, turned to each other, and just...
Claire's assistant director.
Okay, so it's 2 assistant directors. They basically all bugged their eyes out, looked at each other, and just started rolling out expletives of, oh my gosh.
That person blew everyone away.
They were like, we will be blessed if she accepts this role. She was a young lady who just moved here from New York, so I don't know.
Very cool.
I hope she got the role, but again, it comes down to it's only a 2-person cast, and so a lot of it depends on the chemistry between the other characters.
Yeah, it's a show called The Last 5 Years, and there was a movie with Anna Kendrick.
We need to watch that.
Yeah, we should.
So, okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some of our dark color back up into our sky. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my biggest brush. And I'm going to mix up a really, basically, we're going to use cyan and magenta, about equal parts. Yeah, about equal parts. And now, start with, if you struggle, like a lot of times I know a lot of people struggle with having too much paint on the brush, a lot, right? So you can always just kind of wipe a little excess off. Start up in this corner.
Oh my.
And I think that color is good, but I'm going to put a little bit more magenta in it. I want it to be a little bit warmer.
Kim says, I was sick Thanksgiving throughout the cruise. I went on the excursion beach days and felt good enough to snorkel in Curacao. Is that how you say that? But I was in bed around 8 most nights. Yeah, well, that sounds like a good vacation, though.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to show you a trick real quick. I'm going to tilt this a little bit. Basically what I'm going to do.
What is happening? That's so scary. You expect us to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to block that out like that. I'm going to wipe my brush off.
Chatter.
Yeah. I want to make sure my brush has got almost no paint on it. And then I'm just going to use my dry brush.
Mark's sister and husband were with us, so he partied with them at night. Aruba and Curacao were beautiful. Let me know if I'm saying that wrong. We're beautiful, and we booked another cruise to go back because we loved it. Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
So all I'm doing is I'm taking this dry brush. Oh, no. I had
Whoops.
rolled my brush in black earlier, and I wiped it off on my paper towel, and I just got some black on my brush when I was wiping.
Little accident.
All right, so this is how we're going to deal with this, you guys. I take my paper towel.
We took a party bus in Aruba, Cuckoo Canoe, and that was a blast of fun.
And I'm just going to use clean corners of the brush to get this black off of there.
Meanwhile, the rest of us, our paint is drying.
Yeah, no. You know, you're too busy talking about cruises.
The important stuff.
Yeah. Back to what we were doing.
Wait, did you add a little white?
No. I'm just using my brush to smudge this out.
Feels a little heavy. Use less paint than you guys even think that you should.
Yep. Very little paint. That's why we did the small amount. And the thing is if you do get too much, I mean, you can always add some white.
This is not a soft winter sky.
No,
Yet.
it is. The problem with adding white is it adds this opacity that doesn't help sometimes. Just kind of let this kind of break up a bit. If it gets, like, what I would say is, like, if you feel like it's
Can you
too...
tilt your canvas a little?
Yeah.
It's gonna glare.
If you feel like this is too intense and dark,
It is.
wait. Wait. Because it would be better to let this dry and glaze over it than it would be to try to add white. Because, like, adding white, you know this, it adds this weird opacity that makes the color out of place. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. But I think what I'm doing is I just dampened my brush a little bit.
That works.
And just I'm kind of hazing out the edges.
Mm-hmm. So I just did the same thing. I just dampened my brush a bit.
Clean it off, get all the paint off, and then...
Yeah. But it's okay for this to be dark.
Oops.
Oh, wiggle it. Just wiggle it. Just a little bit. It's okay for this to be dark. It's okay for this to break up. It's like it doesn't hurt anything. If you want to soften it, well, what we'll do is we'll wait till it dries a bit, and we can just go over it with a little bit of magenta and lavender. Like mine's a little bit more on the blue side than.
I think for this one, like for someone who hasn't painted a lot.
Oh, wait, there's more to go.
Okay.
Because then the other thing is we're going to come back in with this pink.
Okay. That will help.
Yeah.
But I think like going with a lighter version of your purple to start and gradually adding. No?
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay.
Yeah, because it's actually.
Whatever, you're the teacher.
Yeah. I forgot. It's. We soften the dark up.
Do you need to read your sheet again?
No. We soften that up with this bright pink that comes in across here. And so we can actually even start that now.
Oh, I see. So yeah, you changed some of your steps around a little.
Oh, I'm just painting. I'm looking
Okay.
at the finished painting and painting.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take a little white, a little bit of our pink, about, or magenta, and maybe kind of cotton candy. I don't want very much paint on my brush, but I'm going to start in this top corner. And this is actually how we soften this edge, is with that pink. And again, you can take this pink and you can break it up into their sky a bit. And you know, if you love this pink, do as much as you want. I really feel like this is one of those colors that when we start doing clouds in the sky, if you love it, do it. But you see how that softens those edges up? You see
Yep.
we're working it? Yeah.
Yep, it's good.
Light pressure when you do this, by the way. That's really,
Light pressure and little paint.
yeah. You don't want to come in too heavy. But this is totally the kind of thing, if you love this pink, you could really go to town if you wanted to, though. Like there is no, it's not a party foul. I'll just put it that way.
So, because I'm going to start Christmas baking tomorrow, what
Mhm.
is everybody's favorite Christmas cookie?
Oof. I like your finished cookies that you make.
So that's what Greta wants to start with tomorrow. The little ribbon cakes. Those are really good. They're a shortbread, so they're not super sweet. And it's a soft shortbread, so it's not crispy at all. And I guess most shortbread isn't. But it has a little bit of lemon and raspberry seedless jam filling. I make them.
Now, would
Like
that
a
be
thumbprint.
authentic with the raspberry, or would it be normally like a lingonberry?
It might normally be lingonberry. The recipe calls for raspberry, but I've seen other recipes that call for like maybe it was plum jam. I
Gotcha.
can't remember another type. Maybe it was lingonberry.
So if you've
Lingonberry.
got this area right here, if this feels too harsh with the pink, you can take your original peach color with a little bit of white.
I know cloudberries are something that grow over there. I think those are a favorite of mine, but I also love Brits. And I don't know, I've been
What are those
haven't-
bakeless like peanut butter cookies? The oats and
those ones that your mom always used to make.
I love those.
They're just they're what are they? I think they're just called no bake cookies.
Yeah, and they
But
do-
usually they're also referred to as haystacks. But usually I would see them with chocolate.
there's chocolate ones.
Your
and-
mom's recipe is one of the only ones that doesn't have chocolate in it.
Yeah, I love those.
Those are good. I can make those. They're super easy.
And they're actually
They disappear fast.
pretty healthy too.
No, they're
I mean,
not.
like compared to like a regular cookie.
No, the reason that they are no bake and harden up the way they do is because it's straight up tons of butter and peanut butter.
See, that's all good stuff for you.
No,
Peanut
no,
butter
it's
is really good for you.
Peanut butter is okay in decent amounts.
I'm
It's
not
pretty
talking
high
about
calorie,
eating like a dozen a day.
but you do.
I do.
So,
Those don't count as cookies, though.
yeah, I've been really into gingerbread lately.
You know, I'm into that too.
We got those really good gingerbread cookies from Trader Joe's that were iced, and they didn't have them when we went back last weekend. Trying to think. Oh, that Kringle. Did you like the Danish Kringle?
Yeah,
I've always heard of Norwegian Kringle.
there's some of it left, right?
No.
Oh.
No, during my cold, I didn't really want a lot of stuff. Like, with, I wasn't like into getting up and doing cooking for breakfast or anything. So I was like, I'm gonna eat that.
So I've got a little bit, like, just real quick. My color's a little bit, boy, I get the hiccups. A little bit more intense, and I'm okay with that.
It's not a soft winter sky, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but you guys can see, like, it looks like a cloudy, bright winter sky, but we didn't actually use any techniques to paint clouds.
You did the thing we always do where we up the contrast when we're teaching. I
It's
wonder
not
why
that
there's
much.
got to be
It's
some
not
kind
that
of
much.
there's got to be some kind of psychology
Look,
behind
it's
that.
not that much.
No, there's not. No, actually, no, not much at all.
I would say the pink might be a little bit darker in the new one is all.
But why do you think we do that? Because we both do it.
Well, look, actually the dark part of my sky is darker in my original. Oh wait, no, that's my. No, this is the original. It's about almost exactly the same. All right. So, I might need to refresh where we're at. Just want to make sure we're doing good. We are 45 minutes into this painting. Like, again, put a frame on this one at this point in time, and this is a really nice painting. Put on your wall without doing more. The reason I keep pointing that out, there's a method to my madness, is understanding that sometimes paintings are done when they're at the 50 to 75% point in our minds. Sometimes taking it to 100% is too much. Now, I do feel like this bottom part is a little bit bland, so we'll start working on that. I don't think we can do that now.
Yeah, I agree, Kim. The sky is very pretty.
Yeah. And I think, like, again, one of the things I wanted to really hit with this one is you can do a bright, interesting sky without a lot of precise technique. We get sometimes, I think that's where I think people struggle with clouds is because they're too rigid with them. Does that make sense?
I can relate with that. Yeah.
And that's not a negative. It's just it's a learning process. And Jenny, you're doing a little bit of extra dark using your number 8, and that's there's nothing wrong with doing that. I actually would love to paint like this whole sky with the number 8 if we had time. Speaking of the number 8,
are we going to use the number 8? Is that what you're saying?
We are going to use the number 8. So let's get our number 8. Make sure it's nice and dry and clean. And what we're going to want to do is I'm going to take a little bit of just pure white. And I want to basically start. That's too white. Amazingly, pure white's too white. I'm going to mix up a pale lavender. Lean a little bit to the blue side. So when I say lean a little bit to the blue side, what I mean is you can tell that, like, this is more of a bluish lavender, and then you can have a slightly more magenta lavender. The slightly more magenta lavender is going to be very warm, whereas the bluish is going to feel more like snow. So we're just mixing this up. I'm going to pretend like there's kind of some shadows being cast.
Right now you're casting glimmer.
Yeah. I like to use a smaller brush in the background, further away, because the brush strokes are going to show up as smaller. which when you move away from your viewpoint, everything is going to appear smaller. So you want to, I feel like it's a good way of
You use smaller brush strokes where?
further away, so
Oh, okay.
like closer to the horizon, and using the smaller brush enhances that.
Okay.
So it makes it feel like it's further away.
Got it.
And as we get down maybe about halfway, oh, I got a little bit of pink in there. You know what? That's okay because it's going to reflect a little bit of the sky.
Happy accident.
It's a happy accident, and maybe I actually really like that, so maybe we'll encourage that a little bit more. Mix up a little bit more here. I'm going to, again, I'm switching to my biggest brush as I get a little bit closer. And you can see when I just mix this up, it's a little bit lighter. So I'll just kind of move some of this up into the part that's further away. We'll come back in with some bright white too. Boy, one of our colors, I think it's the white.
Has it odor?
Kind of smells like dirty diaper.
I'm sniffing each one.
I think it's the white.
Is it the white or the magenta?
No, it's the magenta.
That's what I thought. Weird.
You might
They
get
start
that.
oxidizing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's basically most of these paints have organic compounds in them.
Not dirty diaper.
It's not dirty diaper. We've told the story about teaching at Skamania and being like, man, that guy in the front row must have had a bad burrito or something, because there is something foul in Paintsville. And he was probably thinking, man, this teacher just won't quit ripping them. It was the paint. It was the paint. I was in the pool. All right, so we just wanted to lighten that up a bit. You can now take a little tiny bit of white if you want. Let's start down here. I mean, our brightest area is going to be right in line over here. So if you want to switch over to your number 8, having that little bit of foundation of color underneath the white now, because when you put the white on, it's going to blend. And we'll come back later and just add some pure little shimmer. You know me, I've got an idea.
That's a noisy heater.
Oh, you know what? I should have turned. Can you guys hear the heater? It's not picking up on the microphone, so they can't hear it. I have an idea. We have another live stream in less than 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I have an assignment for everybody.
Uh-oh.
I want everybody who shows up on Sunday for our live stream to tell us what your favorite painting was in 2023.
Oh, yeah, because it's our last painting of 2023.
Yeah, and it, you know, if you want to pick one from each of us, that's fine. But if you want to just pick one, that's fine.
It might be
too.
hard to kind of remember, like, what ones we did.
Well, it was probably harder for us to remember.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just, we started in 2019, so we've done 4 years plus a few months. So we've each done, have we really each done like 48 paintings? For Gogh?
Have we?
Like 50?
From the start?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Probably more. Because you've done more, because you've done the charter school and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, the kids' paintings.
Yeah.
I meant to get a lot more of those holiday ones up, but then we stars happened. The Star Society.
Yeah.
The forming of the nonprofit kind of got in the way of a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, Marlene says she's had a lot of favorites. That's fair. I know that like when I look back over the year, it's kind of funny because we have to go through once in a while and look at like the paintings that are the videos and stuff like that, and we end up going back and seeing our paintings and stuff, and it's really interesting to go back because there's definitely paintings that hit and don't.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed to say that. I mean, I wish I could say every single painting I loved with a passion, but it just doesn't work out that way. I'd say it's probably 1 in 4 that I've just, it's okay, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
But this one that for next month is one that when I did it, I didn't love it at first, but then where I work at my office, I have a spot on the wall where I hang them for taking pictures, and it's kind of off to the side of my desk. And this one sat on the wall for a few days, and I've discovered that this portion of this painting is one of the favorite things I've painted this year, which kind of surprised me. Because like I said, I didn't love it at first. And then I think it resonated enough that I kind of almost ended up doing a very similar thing up in here. So, it's just kind of weird how that works sometimes. And then I realized that one for January reminds me a lot of the one I did for October in a way. The Hollow,
Really?
Spooky Hollow.
Weird.
Yeah, it's kind of the funnel of down the trees.
Just not a spooky feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how we kind of figure out like our techniques and what works best. Let's see. Yeah, that's why I gave you guys a few days, Kim. It is hard to choose.
Did we do the cosmic grizzly bear in 2023? I think we did.
I don't remember.
I'd have to look on her.
I think it was 2022.
Okay, I liked that one.
Yeah.
And I did like, okay, not the cat. I liked the cat personally, but teaching it was hard. I really liked Paul's owl.
I discovered he's very sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking to me?
Excuse me.
Kind of Urkel. Did I do that? All right.
He was the guy with the paint, stinky paint.
Oh, yeah. It looks very glamour shots.
Let me know if you guys get tired of painting animals. I feel like I'm like on an animal kick, and I like painting those and underwater creatures.
You know what? I've been on a landscape kick for 10 years, and I'm fine with it.
I attempted a landscape for February, and I was like, what am I doing? Landscapes are Paul's thing. It was a whimsical landscape, but then
You know what's really funny about that?
just did not like it.
So you did the landscape, and I tried to do an up-close one, and we both looked at our reverse paintings and went, I don't like it.
And then we changed and did something completely different. That's funny.
Actually, I've got my start for the other one
I saw
right
the
there.
crocuses.
Yeah, I'm going to show it.
You get to see a Paul fail.
It's not really a fail. It's just
You didn't like it.
Yeah, it just kind of got to a point where I just felt like I thought it was going to be hard to teach. And I'll just say I really liked the beginning and the background. And then it just there's where it kind of started going.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really get a good look at it.
It's not terrible.
The flowers, like if they were developed, but
it would probably
you
be
quit.
okay. But I
You
got
obviously
to the point,
quit.
Yeah, I quit. But I loved this part. And I loved this part until I added the snow. Remember I had like big rocks and stuff. And then I was thinking back to our daffodil painting from last year, and I was like, I remember how frustrating that was for people. And it would be like if you did like another painting and you were like, oh, I just remembered the cat painting. Wiggle that.
If I did a cat again.
Yeah, and it would go, oh, I remember that was.
That was rough.
Yeah. So it happens sometimes where we get going, and usually what it is like for me, I'm sure maybe it's the same for you, but for me most of the time is I get to a certain point and I go, this is going to be too much to teach.
Yeah. Yep. I had that a little bit with the ermine, and then it wasn't looking the way I wanted it to look. But it felt like maybe convoluted the way I put it together because of thinking of it in terms of teaching.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. I might stick with the ermine. I might do something different. I was looking up winter animals, and there was a lot of really cute raccoon pictures. And,
I'm just kind of touching this up here. I've got a little bit of canvas showing that I don't like so much, so I'm just mixing a softer color to kind of just glaze over. So there's nothing real fancy going on in this technique. It's just I'm just covering some of the spots where canvas is showing.
Will you finish the crocus painting?
I might.
If not, do you paint over the canvas? You know, we don't always paint over the canvas. We have a stack of starts, and sometimes we'll give them to Goodwill for people to use for painting over, because a lot of people will go into Goodwill and buy paintings and paint over them.
Yep.
And but I will usually try to gesso over them or paint them black. And I have so many that I want to do a video of black canvas paintings. Like here's what to do if you have a painting that you didn't like, so you painted it black. And we're going to start a painting.
Actually,
with a black
that would
canvas.
Be a fun series to do on the website, on YouTube.
Yeah, black canvas paintings.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like the black velvet paintings. Actually, black is an interesting thing. We've talked about it before. By the way, we're just going to kind of let things dry a little bit.
It doesn't have to be black. It could be like gray too.
It can be any color, but your main thing is you want to make sure you get covered over what you're doing. But what was I just going to say? Oh, I know what I was going to say. A lot of times if you paint your canvas black, you can buy black canvas.
Yeah.
At Michael's and places like that. The color shows differently over black than it does over white. And I remember we used to have, was it Hauser green?
Yeah. That
we used to use in the studio, that if you painted it over white, it just looked like a grass stain. It did not look good. It looked awful. But if you painted it over black, it popped and was just this wonderful color. And so you just kind of find that sometimes painting over black is a better thing. Sometimes, I would say studio caliber gallery artists typically underpaint a color of some sort.
Jim says I painted a hibiscus blossom on a black canvas. It was such a stark contrast. I loved it. Yes, I love that look too. Marlene, I'd like to learn to paint on a black canvas. Yes. Susan, hi. Good to see you. Late to the party, but I happened to be awake late. Nice. Good to see you on here.
Yeah, we're actually dragging this one out because this painting's going quick.
We just have trees left to do?
Yeah, pretty much just trees. We'll do some extra highlights in the snow, and that's it. I mean, we could come in if you like. I'm tempted to say you could come in and soften the sky, but I like the way the contrast of the sky is right now. I might throw a little more pink into this transition. This is really kind of like, I don't know, as we paint more and more together as a group and stuff, I think this is one of my favorite skies we've done. In that there's a lot going on, but there's nothing complicated about what's going on. It's more about just kind of letting it flow. All right, trees. Let's start out with our trees. So you guys know my philosophy about trees. Let's do like one first.
Why don't you show the original so we know the size?
Let's do that. So these are pretty close to black, but I think what we'll do is we'll tone them down a little bit. my philosophy on doing these trees is you do one at a time. We've seen it in the studio. People come in and they paint the trunk. They go and they go, I'm going to paint a trunk here, 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 here. And then they find that this technique of painting the trees is really difficult for them. And yes, they power through and they get them done, but it's very, I don't want to call it traumatic, but kind of traumatic for them. You know, it's a process. It's really challenging emotionally. So I'm big on let's just do one tree to start with. Maybe we'll start with this one here.
It's small.
It's a little bit smaller. It's in from the edge. It could be there by itself and it would be fine.
Those all look like nobles. So
Yeah.
They're kind of tall and skinny and
kind of generic trees. You know, you guys, if you're ever in Oregon, it doesn't matter what time of year, but I mean, summer's probably easier. But if you're ever in Oregon, one of the things you should do is go up to Timberline Lodge if you have the opportunity, because A, it's the outside of the hotel in The Shining. B, if you go in, they do have an axe that you can pose with. C, they have a pair of St. Bernard Lodge dogs that have lived. They're, I think, the 5th generation of pair, and they have the same name. I think Brutus
and Heidi or something
like that. And they're always there. But the thing that's really cool is the reason it's called Timberline Lodge is because of the exposure of the elevation. The trees, it's 6,600 feet elevation. You're about just a little over halfway up the mountain. The trees are very small. They're very short. Like most of the trees are only like, the big trees, there's a few that are maybe 25 feet, but most of them are kind of like 10, 15 feet because they're just exposed. And Jenny and I got to go up there and do a painting event several years ago for Nike. And do you remember when we got there and we pulled into the parking lot and the clouds were lower than the parking lot? And they were ripping. Like it was like 50-mile-an-hour winds. And it was almost disorientating because you're standing in the parking lot and the clouds are below your feet. Not much, like maybe 15, 20 feet. It wasn't a lot. And they were just ripping past us. And it was like a little bit of motion sickness.
There was no way we could have driven home that night. It was so stormy.
No. And that lodge was built during the Depression, and it was a way of the federal government pumping money back into the economy of the area.
I thought it was built in the 90s.
No.
Are you
Timberline?
sure?
No. The original lodge was built during the Depression.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so like all the furniture and stuff is in there. It was made by local craftsmen.
That's cool.
The lower lodge was built in the 80s.
Okay.
So that's the actual, there's the old lodge, which is more of a hotel now, and then there's the lower lodge, which is the ski lodge where you go actually get your lift tickets and all that stuff. No, it's old. It's old.
Let's paint those trees.
Let's do it. Well, we're killing time. We're only at an hour and
That's okay.
8 minutes. Are we going to go get dinner after this? No? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wow, that's disappointing.
We've got Greta with us.
So? She doesn't deserve to have dinner?
No, she didn't want to go anywhere because she's in her
she's
pajamas.
Worse. All right, so I'm going to use my number 4 to start. And so we're going to start with this tree that's, about 2.5 inches in. So kind of like right in this middle here.
What color?
We're going to mix together cyan, magenta, and black. You know what? Let's add a little bit of yellow ochre to it.
Let's put everybody in the pool.
Everybody in the pool. Except for
that turns it kind of green.
Processed yellow.
Because Christmas trees have to be green.
Well, you don't want it to feel like, you don't want it to be green.
Hey, I'm making a joke for what your mom said.
Oh, yeah. Ignore my mom, everybody.
Yes. She occasionally comes on to Gogh and gives some advice, but it doesn't always.
She never watches our videos, but she has some cognitive issues, so she.
Her advice sometimes comes out as not necessarily a compliment.
She means well, but she's mean sometimes. No, I mean, she's not. She's a sweet lady, but I
She is
love my
very
mom,
sweet.
but she
We just sometimes don't know what's going to come out of the mouth.
just says what she just says what comes to her mind. All right, so I'm going to start at the top of the tree here. And I'm just going to start kind of dabbing down. So if you post on something for advice on Gogh and you see our same last name respawn, don't get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, don't. Most of the time, it's been pleasant and good. But
Looks like good times are ahead. So what I'm going to do is when I get down to the base of this tree, so I'm going to come down maybe an inch or two, maybe about an inch below our horizon. I'm going to wipe my brush off. And then I'm just going to fuzz out the bottom here. This is a really important part, actually. This little fuzzing out of the bottom. Moms always mean well. My mom will be 80 in a couple of months, and she has a little bit of dementia going on. So sometimes the things she says, like I said, she means well. It's really important to blend out this bottom, and this is something that I see a lot in beginning painting. Is the tree just stops and that's it, and it feels like somebody just cut it out of construction paper and just stuck it on the canvas. And the way you get away from that is you blend it out. So what does the blending out do? Well, it grounds it, it creates a shadow underneath it, it makes it so that you don't have to define.
It kind of eliminates the perception of where it ends.
Yeah, exactly, because if you didn't blend it out, you would have to explain.
Kim said, well, she's entitled to be salty.
She's salty.
I think, that's exactly how your mom's mom was, Granny.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm entitled to be salty.
It's actually funny. So my grandmother was a grumpy old lady.
I never got that from her.
No, but my cousins all did not get along with her as well. And I always got along with her really well because I just salted right back. And she always my cousins to this day, I was like, you were always Granny's favorite. And I was like, it's because I just kind of went along with it and I didn't take her seriously. All right, so if we were to just bring this tree down to the bottom and not blend this out, what happens is we have to explain to the viewer where the tree's coming from, what's going on. Is it coming out of, is there a hole around the base where it's coming out of the snow? Is there rocks? If you just blend it out into a shadow, it kind of just explains it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and do this larger one. And you guys, you can, at any time, you can start out with a smaller brush. And this is actually very similar to the technique we'll be using next month.
They're kind of like Grinchy at the top.
Yeah, I mean,
Dr. Seuss.
They're kind of spiky.
Like they're, spiky, but then they kind of droop right away.
Yeah.
Not how you usually do trees. Right?
No, it's actually almost the opposite.
Yeah.
But the thought is, when you're painting a tree like this, there's usually snow that's weighting the branches down. And so they are going to be more droopy.
Yeah, and like northern, like Lapland, the trees just are spires that are just completely weighted down with snow.
Yeah.
So Kim, I think you missed our convo earlier. We were asking people what their favorite Christmas cookie is.
What?
I'm curious what yours.
Kim missed that part?
I think so. And I'm curious what your favorite Christmas cookie is.
Okay, I got a hard question for people.
Okay.
Is your favorite part of our live streams the painting or the conversation? Like that's something I've always wondered about.
Susan says, I love the sky. I know what I'm doing this weekend after I finish Hint of Winter. I'm still behind. Actually, that's not too far behind, so you're doing good.
No, you're doing good.
You're doing good. It is a nice little weekend to paint. And, you know, we're also kind of crazy busy this time of year, so taking some time to yourself is good.
That's what I'm going to do tomorrow.
All the cookies. Yeah.
While
I
they're
like that. That's
baking,
how I feel too. I don't think I've met a cookie I don't like.
all they're baking, I'm going to go golfing.
I actually might grab some of my candle making stuff and bring it home since we're living in the dark ages with no internet at home until Tuesday.
You go ahead and throw one more little tree here.
Oh, yeah. My daughter called, shortbread cookies with the cherry in the middle. Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
That's real close to the finished one then.
Yeah, so what I was talking about was these cookies I make every year that they're basically a not super sweet shortbread and soft, and I make them into thumbprint cookies, which is not the traditional recipe. Is you cut them into these little angled pieces, which allows the jelly, allows the jelly to just fall off really easy. And so they're filled with raspberry jelly. So I like to make them as thumbprints, and then you glaze them with like a lemon powdered sugar glaze. It's so good.
What's that bread you make?
Ooh, macadamia nut cookies are also good. Can't pick one. I was using
Pula
bread.
Pula bread.
Yeah, pula bread is a cardamom braided bread, and that's.
I remember
so
you took
good.
You took some of that to the tattoo shop the one year.
They devoured it.
Yeah. They were
our next door neighbors when we had a studio.
I'm gonna do one more here. And I'm thinking of these as being kind of like, oh, they're framing in.
Yes, the finished cookies. I have mentioned it before, and then I think it was 2021 December. We sent it out in a recipe card.
Oh, that's right, we did.
You can find the recipe online. Just Google Finnish ribbon cakes, and you'll see them. They're so good.
Just did kind of a small one there. And notice I'm kind of doing the shadows, kind of going at this angle to the right. I'm going to take a little bit of this color here and let's lighten that up. That's a little too dark. Let's add a little bit more blue, a little bit more magenta or cyan magenta. Add some shadow. In the shadow, shadow-da-do. In the shadow-da-da-da-da-do. All right. Now, if you get like, again, I'm kind of like creating these kind of shadows in around these trees going like this. Don't worry about it if it feels too like a straight line, because we're going to come back in with some snow. Let's see. Paul's question. I love the conversation during the lives. It's like getting together with friends twice a month.
Nice.
Yep.
And you don't even have to leave your couch.
That's right. That doesn't surprise me. That's kind of what I thought people would say. Of course, that's only one person so far, so maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, if I bring back the original, I've got this one extra little tree in back here. And if you wanted to do that, and maybe a couple others to kind of fill in, what we'll do with that is, I think we'll do that probably with our smallest brush. And I'm just going to basically take our color we just used, I'm going to add some white, add a little bit more blue, and add a little magenta again.
Marlene says, your conversation along with the painting makes it fun for me. The both of you make me laugh. I'm glad. Yes, we can be in our jammies too.
We do sometimes we get done and we like look at each other and go, I can't believe you said that.
Can't believe you said that on the air.
So I'm just going to use my smallest brush, and I'm just going to, so I mixed up this color. It's just a little lighter, a little bit more purple. And I'm just using my smallest brush, basically to do the same thing. I'm not going to worry about blending it out. If you want to do another one anywhere over here, kind of fill in. Maybe do one more here. It won't hurt this at all. even though we're painting over essentially like the background trees we did, it's okay. It's okay to do that. You don't know if you're going to end up painting over that spot or not. So it's better to do it from the start, leave it, and paint over it than it is to not paint it, get to the end, and be like, oh, I got to go back and find some way to fix that.
Oh my gosh, the sky looked so amazing when we were driving in tonight. And then we had this like sliver of a crescent moon that was so pretty.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that as I'm doing my stars that I usually do.
Jenny's got to put her stars in, even if they don't make sense. No,
they make sense in this one because
Okay.
I had such dark patches up at the top that I kept thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? Why not? I keep thinking about it. I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Now that the lives are private, what you're saying goes no further. What happens during the live stays in the lives, just like Vegas.
Yeah.
That was true.
And that will definitely always be true.
We were pretty lucky. We didn't really ever get trolls or anything.
No, not too much. I mean, we've had a few.
Not too much.
We've had a couple of people thinking they were, funny. Not recently, but early on, we had a few smart asses.
Yeah. People accusing us of trying to be like someone else, like trying to be like Bob Ross or something like that. It was so funny. I was like, really? You've got nothing better to do tonight than to troll a couple of small-time YouTubers?
It's
teaching painting.
It's definitely one of those things. It's one of those things that's really hard to escape the Bob
Yeah.
Ross comparisons. I guess automatically, if you teach painting, you're a wannabe Bob Ross, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Because nobody ever taught painting before Bob Ross.
No, and nobody else has ever taught painting since. It's the guy's been dead for almost 30 years. When did he die? He died in like 96,
I think.
Yeah, so he's been dead for 27
Okay,
years.
the year
There's
we
a
got married.
vacancy. I'm just saying. All right. So let's create. So we're gonna come back in so you can kind of see through, and that's okay because like if you think about like a fir tree or something, you're gonna see light through it. So I'm not gonna worry about it. We're gonna put some snow and stuff on those, but let's go ahead and paint our main Christmas tree. And you don't have to put lights on it if you don't want to. That's totally up to you. Like it's the kind of thing that's like, again, if you really want to, go for it. If you don't want to, it's fine.
You could put a deer and a snowman in a cottage and
Oh my gosh. And let's put a barn.
Why not? You can do whatever you want. Godzilla?
Yeah. We can put the TARDIS in the sky. I was thinking Krampus would be a nice addition.
There we go.
Yeah. Ooh,
oh yeah, Daniel is working tonight. They have some kind of thing with the. So explain what Daniel does for a job, because I can't remember exactly. You explain it better.
Yeah, so Daniel works with his
like,
clients, which are adults with autism, and
he takes them out for movies and.
So today he was actually taking one down to Cannon Beach, one of his clients down to Cannon
cool.
Beach, and having a son who is within the spectrum of the type of people
that Daniel works with.
He had messaged me this morning and said, we were supposed to leave Portland at 9. We had agreed on this, but it's 11 and we're still in Portland. So what I understand and I know from our own son is sometimes changing routines, like leaving an hour earlier than normal, causes things to go the other direction and you end up leaving later than usual.
Yeah.
So it's like our son, like if we're going to go meet his grandparents so he can spend the night, which he's going to be doing tomorrow, it's not oh, that's right, he's not. But if we're running 5 minutes late, it's never we're running 5 minutes late, it's a we must reschedule for 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
You know, there's
That is true.
yeah, it's
He's true.
he's never like we're just running 5 minutes late. Well, you know, it's always well we have to. It has to be 15 minutes later. All right.
So yeah, Daniel provides like a social outlet.
Yeah, so he
Or-
does things like if they are, his client wants to go to an estate sale someplace, he takes them and helps them at the bank. And
That's so
most
cool.
of them are independent living, but they don't drive themselves places. But most of them are in their 40s and 50s and
Well, and
have
it keeps them
jobs
from
and-
like Hayden. If we didn't get him out and do stuff, he would maybe just shut himself in his room and watch train videos all day. So
well, he does that anyway.
yeah, but he also gets out every day.
Yeah. All right. So what I've done is I've painted more of a triangular shaped tree because we're going to put lights and stuff on this. So it doesn't matter if you see as much of the shape of the tree. It's more of the general profile.
Kiddos on the spectrum are very routine oriented. What a nice job Daniel has. Yeah, he's a great one for that.
Yeah, he does a
Absolutely.
really good job with them, and he's got, I don't know how many clients he has, but he has a lot of fun. I know that they have his company he works with is fairly small. I don't know how many. I don't know what his role is considered, but there's I think 4 or 5 people that in their company that do what he does, and
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I get a kick out of that. You know, it's, of course, Daniel's known us since I think right around the time Hayden was born. So
Yeah.
I've been friends with Daniel for 23,
I think
24
you
years.
were friends with him before
Yeah,
Hayden was born.
right around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But
And Hayden's 23.
yeah, and his nephew was born on Hayden's first birthday, so we always kind of get a kick out of that. But you know, we've known each other for a long time, and you know, him knowing, and he used to work at one of the high schools with
Special needs kids.
yeah, and then he does this independently now. All right, so let's let that dry a little bit because we're going to put some lights on it in a minute. This painting's getting really close to done. What I want to do is I want to just kind of enhance some of the snow in the foreground here. And I'm going to go to my number 8. And this is something that's a little bit tricky because you don't want to get too much of the white too close to the horizon and lose the horizon. So I'm just using a little bit of paint. Starting really small, I'm using the number 8. So I'm guessing Daniel's still either at Cannon Beach or on the way back.
Yeah. And then Sunday he's doing some kind of moving stuff with his siblings, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So are you just using pure white there?
Yeah, but I'm using very little pressure, so I'm not putting a lot of paint on.
That tree could be a tree gnome.
It totally could be.
It's got the
Could
right shape.
Oh, wiggle it. So I want to put it on light enough that it's not like, oh, it's just white. If it gets too light for you, you can always kind of try to mix up your lavender you used originally. So here's a trick. Like if you get this, let me just show you what you can do. If I get this lavender a little bit too pink from my original color, you see, let me zoom in so you can see it. You can see this color is a little bit lighter, right? A little bit more pink. Just very lightly. Spread it around a bit. Share the love. And that's something that I've seen a lot over the years of teaching is when you go back and try to mix a color that you had before, and it's really hard to do. to get it exact. And if you don't get it exact, just roll with it. But make sure you get it spread around.
Bring it around town.
Around town. Because if you bring it around and you spread it out over here and over there, it doesn't feel out of place because you've just incorporated it a little bit everywhere. So that doesn't mean you have to change the whole thing to accommodate that color. Just add it as a hint, a suggestion. Snowy whisper.
A careless whisper.
Yeah, a careful whisper maybe. A coordinated effort. Yes, I totally got the George Michael thing, by the way. Use it as a transition color. See there? It's like it all works now. But I remember when we were teaching in the studio and we'd have somebody do something where they try to do a little fix right there or something and it doesn't match. And they would just have this one little spot and be like, and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, take that color and move it around a little bit so it feels like it belongs there. Don't just leave it alone. Make it feel important. And I don't want to bring this white down too far. I think it's really easy to do too much. All right. That's enough of that. All right, I got another question for people.
Okay.
What's your favorite Christmas movie that's not necessarily a Christmas movie?
What? Didn't we have this discussion before where we talked about Die Hard?
Yeah. But like we just watched the new one. Better Watch Out. That I don't feel like it was a Christmas movie, but it was set around Christmas time, so it was kind of a Christmas movie, but not really a Christmas movie.
It was a horror movie.
It was a horror movie. Actually, Violent Night.
Mystery.
Violent Night with David Harbour from Stranger Things. If you like more
funny
horror kind of, because it has John Leguizamo in it and Beverly D'Angelo in it, and we just watched that one, and that was actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed that one. I tried explaining it to my parents.
Why did you do that?
Just to see him squirm.
Okay, are we going to put snow on these trees? Because I'm ready.
Yep. All right, so we're going to make our little light lavender. I don't like to use pure white for doing snow on trees typically. Maybe a little bit at the very end just to add a little shimmer. So I'm just going to use my number 8. I mixed up this real pale lavender.
Here comes the Die Hard combo.
Yeah. We still haven't watched it. So
We need to.
I've watched it. I mean, I watched it in high school. But all right, so we're just going to, I think the thing that's hardest when we do the snow on these trees like this.
What color are you using? Kind of a periwinkle lavender?
Yeah, periwinkle's a good explanation for that. Mostly it just needs to be lighter than the tree. The one thing we have to remember is there's branches coming towards us too. And so
don't skip those.
Yeah, so I just kind of take the brush and just kind of like think about, okay, it's on the top edge. And I just kind of blot in bands.
I don't know any. Oh wait, I don't know of any other than Die Hard because we never watched thrillers. But we just got a streaming channel that includes a bunch of channels. There are a ton of Christmas rom-coms I've been watching.
Like
What Greta and I've been doing.
There was something else.
Something else.
I mean, like, okay. So I always think of like the Harry Potter movies, like the first one, I always think as being kind of Christmassy because there's parts of it that take place during Christmas, but it's not necessarily
But there's parts
Christmas
that take
movie.
place during Halloween.
Yeah, but it's definitely could be perceived as being kind of a bit of a Christmas movie, maybe. The Star Wars Holiday Special.
Station is friendly, like FRNDLY. Have you heard of that, Paul? Neither. Let's see, what do we like? We like all the Christmas Prince ones. Something about like royals, some like average girl getting to marry some guy she didn't know was a prince. Those are great. We've watched a lot of those. There's so many of them, of different like what was the one last night called? My Christmas Prince or something?
Yeah.
Not a lot of them are very good.
What are you talking about? They're glorious gems of screenwriting and cinematography.
The Prince movies and the Switch movies, yes. Christmas Switch. Susan says Die Hard is always first on our list for Christmas. It's a tradition.
See, we need to watch. I've watched it again. You know, I've mentioned it. Okay. So I guess the definition is, the question is just because a movie takes place during Christmas, does it make it a Christmas movie?
Some maybe.
"20 great Christmas movies that aren't Christmas movies." I'm on Google.
Enjoy it, because when we get home, you won't.
What?
When we get home, you won't be able to be on Google.
That's true. We won't. Oh, you know what? How about the best Thanksgiving movie ever?
What?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that in ages.
Where's your hand? Between two pillows? You remember that part?
Mm-hmm.
John Candy and is that Dan Aykroyd?
No, wait. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it is.
Throw Mama from the Train. That was Billy Crystal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Does that take place in Christmas?
I don't remember.
So, Kim, if you like those.
I like Susan's answer.
What's that? It's not truly official Christmas season until Hans Gruber falls from Nakatomi Plaza.
I can't. You've never seen that movie ever.
Just clips.
It's actually a pretty good movie. I mean, didn't they make 2 of them or 3 of them?
I don't know. But Kim, if you like those Prince and Switch movies, you should watch The Night Before Christmas. I think we talked about that one last time. It's Knight. It also has Vanessa Hudgens, and it's cute. Greta saves that one for last.
Your magic box. He's talking about the magic box, remember?
The television?
Yeah. I mean, dude adapts.
He adapts pretty quick.
He adapts pretty quick. All right, so we're kind of all done with this area. We might add some shadow back in here. But let's go ahead and start adding our lights to our trees, and then we'll be done very shortly. So let's take our smallest brush. I'm just going to take the back end of the brush, and I'm just going to use pure white. I'm just going to go ahead and put a dot right on the top of the tree.
What's that for?
The lights. And I'm just doing white for now. You guys don't have to do this if you don't want to. I mean, it's totally...
It's something that Paul got it all done, and I said, why don't you decorate one of those trees?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's kind of fun to do it, you know.
It is.
This one is going to shine.
Whoa.
We're not done yet. It'll be... I wanted to make sure this thing popped. So I do feel like I kind of lost my shadows over here. So while that little bit of white dries real quick, I'm going to take my number 8 and mix up a shadow color. Getting kind of our lavender. And again, I'm going to kind of look at my... Now we're going to have some light shining from this tree, so don't get too carried away.
Oh, Jenny, I just looked it up, and I've seen The Night Before Christmas. Good movie. Needs to be watched this weekend. Yes. Yeah, we need to watch it. Sometime either this weekend or the next week. But we always, Christmas Eve, we watch The Polar Express because that's the one time Hayden will come down.
Yeah,
Hayden, it's tradition. He loves The Polar Express. He likes watching it with us downstairs.
he's a train guy, so
And that came out when he was, how old do you think he was? Do you remember when that movie came out?
5 or 6.
Did it come out in like 2004? I remember it was like really renowned for the the CGI. And so if it was 2004,
2004.
yeah, he would have been 4
Yeah.
because he was born in 2000.
Well, and I think
Aw,
honestly, it's like
little Hayden.
one of those things that's like Christmas movie. I mean, like trains and Christmas and all that are kind of like, you know, all little boys have to do that.
Yes. Kim likes time travel movies and books. I started reading The Time Traveler's Wife, and then my Nook died, and I haven't finished that one. I haven't seen the movie either. Have you seen that movie, The Time Traveler's Wife? A Wonderful Life. We watch every Christmas night. Yes.
So we just watched that one for the first time last year. I think we've talked about this. I want to watch it again.
Well, that's wonderful. Remember, you always go into your Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
We're going to come and decorate this tree. We're going to put some lights on it. And everybody will splendor in its joy.
You don't have Daniel here to egg you on.
I know, I got to manufacture it myself. I mean, we'll have to watch A Christmas Story, of course.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Both of them.
that one we put on Christmas Day.
Both of them. Because there's the Finnish one, too.
Oh, yeah. That's just called Christmas Story.
So good.
It is really good. Yeah, I like that one.
I don't know if you guys can find that one online.
It's just called Christmas Story, not The Christmas Story. It's Christmas Story. It's about like the birth and life of Santa as
In Lapland.
Nicholas. It's really good. Yeah, highly recommend.
And the voiceover is good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Finnish movie. So it's the original was all voiced in Finnish. I think, was it John Turturro?
John Turturro's in it. Yeah.
Does one of the voices, and when you watch it, you don't feel like, oh wow,
This is dubbed.
yeah. I mean, there you definitely the lip syncing is not on, but it's the voice acting is done well enough that you don't feel like you're missing something. They had obviously good big name actors doing it.
Oh yeah, Kim. I've read Outlander. I think I read the first and second book, and then I watched the first season at least of it. And I don't know. It was right when I was really busy with our in-person studio, so sticking with shows was really hard for me then. But that's what I need to go back to. It is really good. And Jamie is so handsome.
Who's this Jamie guy?
He's the lead guy in Outlander.
Oh.
And I think those books were written quite a long time ago.
At this point, I am just
Buying time.
Just
Buying, drying time.
messing around. All right. So I'm going to now take my smallest brush. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use our bright yellow, our process yellow. And I'm just going to use the very tip of the brush to add a little bit of yellow to each of my lights. It's okay if it blurs it out. It's funny with our internet being out, the provider keeps calling and being like, "Is it back up yet?" like, because they're working on it from the server side. I'm actually gonna blur this out a bit.
So do they think they can do it remotely?
Yeah, I think it might be something that's network related. I mean, definitely it's network related. It's not like our system. But they're clearly working on it still because it's the same person who keeps calling. She's like, "We tried something new. Is it working yet?" No. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of red. Just add some red dots.
You mean magenta.
Magenta ornaments.
Big fan. First one was written in 1991. I knew it was in the 90s. There are 10 books with the 10th being written now. It takes 3 to 4 years per book. Yeah, they're super thick. I don't know how she comes up with so many stories. It's pretty amazing.
I had a favorite book series, and the author died before he finished it.
Yeah, he was on the last book, the 12th book.
And that sucked.
But another really good author who was a good friend of his and had permission finished it.
Well, Brandon Sanderson's a really good author, so. But I haven't been able to finish it.
It was the Wheel of Time series.
Yeah,
and the
Wheel
author,
of Time. It's on Apple TV.
Yeah, the author was like sick with cancer or something, so he knew he was not going to live to finish it. So they made arrangements.
I'm just going to add a little bit of white around this tree.
Is that for shimmer?
Yeah, I would be tempted to add some yellow, but it's really like...
Don't eat the yellows.
Yeah, yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and do... Oh, you got to wiggle.
What?
The mouse. Oh. If you do add a little bit of yellow, add just the tiniest amount.
Yellow glue.
Like, you don't really want to paint it yellow.
I think you can mix yellow with white.
Yeah, it's mostly white with just a touch of yellow.
Just to, get people to see that, yes, you do know they reflect on the snow.
I mean, you could even take, like, this tree that's... My brush is really hashed tonight. You could take a little bit of this and hit a little bit on the edge of this tree too, like it's shining on this tree.
For sure, it would happen.
And actually, the one way you can get away from the feeling like yellow snow is you can actually put individual yellow dots. So it looks like it's reflecting the individual dots. Okay. We are done, y'all.
Time to sign.
Sign it.
I finished at exactly the same time as you.
I feel like my signature's wonky, but oh well.
Looks like a big B.
It does. I like signed it and I was like, what?
I'm calling mine Christmas on Hoth.
Oh. Well, there you
You
go.
have to zoom out.
Oops. I turned the camera off. Hold on. There we go. Yep. You put an ad in there.
It's Christmas on Hoth.
There we go.
And I put stars because it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was the thing about this part being dark up here. I mean, it could be just open sky. It could be dark up the clouds. It really doesn't matter. I actually really like your ad.
Yeah. You needed something silhouetted back there.
Yeah, compared to the original.
Mine has more purple.
Yeah.
And
Well, both of ours have more intense color.
Pink and softer pastels in the snow below.
Yeah.
With just white kind of towards the back.
Yeah, actually that looks good. I think, everybody's would benefit from a little bit of pink down in this lower range. The thing that's hard with snow is like how much color do you reflect before you lose the snow?
Yeah.
You know?
I ran into that with the little ermine thing I painted. I was like,
Uh-huh.
he's blending in with the snow because he's pure white. The snow's pure white. If you do the snow that's like a sunset snow and it reflects the color, well, your little character is going to reflect that too.
Yeah.
Because he's pure white. Thank you, guys. Love that. I might put mine on my Etsy page. And I'm selling a few randoms here and there. Enough to buy me Starbucks once a month.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, let's see. We'll see you guys in less than 48 hours.
Yeah. Be ready Sunday.
I'm going to bring us back.
It'll be 3, so we'll have more energy and get some hot cocoa. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, for us 3, but for, Kim, I guess it'd be like 6. So
Hot cocoa with some vodka?
Yeah. Bailey's.
Bailey's. Oh, we've got that stuff at home that we got at Trader Joe's. It's not Bailey's.
Trader Joe's.
So
Bailey's.
Oregon has really weird laws. They're like grocery stores and stuff like that can't sell anything that has actual hard alcohol in it.
Yeah.
So if we want to get we actually, big deal. We got to go to the real liquor store to buy stuff. But it's weird because like you can't even get Bailey's in the grocery store. You have to get O'Mara's, which is like a wine-based.
Malt wine, whatever, something.
Yeah, it's like a wine-based facsimile.
Facsimile.
Bailey's. Even the bottle even looks the same. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the same shaped bottle as Bailey's.
Same font.
But it doesn't have whiskey in it. It has the
Sunday dinner
wine.
and football. Oh yeah, pop in if you want and say hello and tell us the score.
Who are you watching? What team is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with it. Do you keep up with it?
I don't keep up with NFL.
College? Oh, NFL. You keep up with college.
Mhm.
Okay, I knew there was one that you were more into. And why is that?
We don't have an NFL team.
Oh, okay. That's right. So you just watch it. Okay, you watch the Ducks.
Yeah, they've tried really hard to convince us in Portland that the Seattle Seahawks are our team, and and they do well. Yeah, obviously we pay attention, but it's like most of the people I'd say there's a lot of Denver Bronco fans here. There's a lot of 49er fans here. There's a lot of Chargers fans here now because of
Miami
Justin
Dolphins for Marlene.
All right.
And Kim says, see, Sunday we brought back blue curacao and tamarind, so we might pop them open on Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
Cheers to that.
Blue curacao. I like using that to make margaritas.
Yeah, we don't have that. Well, we do have some of that at home.
We
but
do?
we have Midori too, which is really tasty.
The difference is
depending on-
Midori gives it the melon flavor versus the orange flavor of the curacao.
Yeah, and it's not like an American melon. It's a Japanese melon.
Yeah.
So it's different. Different.
Dolphins, Bucks, and Pats. So we actually ended up in a sports bar in Boston during a Patriots game one time, and our son thought that was the funniest thing in the whole
He's
world.
never seen so many animated people.
He's like, people were rolling down the aisles of the...
They were.
It was just happenstance. We were like hungry, and it's like, oh, there's some place to go get something to eat, and we popped in, and it was right during a Patriots game, and we were in Boston, so
It was
like,
exciting. It was perfect. And then we went to the Cheers bar. Remember
we didn't actually
we didn't
go
in, but we walked by.
I'm bummed, and it wasn't the original one. It was one of their other locations.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, Cheers is one of my favorite shows of all time, so that was fun to take a picture in front of it. So, anything else?
All right. No, I guess we'll just be here Sunday with bells on. And
Yeah.
ready to teach our last painting of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. That's crazy. Here we are.
Here we are. All right, guys.
We'll see you later. See you Sunday. Have a good Saturday and see you ready to paint.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.